Welcome today. Wow. All right. This is Worship Harvest, Worship Resources. This is Mint, yours truly. And today I want to talk a little bit into rehearsals, rehearsals, what is what, who is who, which is which, you know. And people have been asking what exactly happens in practice, what happens in rehearsal. Okay, so I feel privileged to talk about this because thanks to Harvest Institute last year, 2024, I did School of Leadership and Ministry. And at the end of the year, you're required to write a book. And I was so privileged to write on worship. And the book is called Irresistible. It will be out very soon. But I want to just, say a few things that I wrote from there because I think they're going to be very helpful in this conversation. Okay, and I've also come as a teacher. You know, don't call me Musome Samint. I see you, my dear friends. Don't do it. And let me just say a few things from the book. So I start by saying repetition. This is a very wise quote from Zig Ziglar. He says repetition is the mother of learning, the father of action, which makes it the architect of accomplishment. Okay? So the importance of consistent practice and perseverance in achieving success cannot be overstated. Now, here's the thing that happens. What happens to teams is that we tend to take our practice onto stage. And allow me to use the word performance today to say that practice is done in the place of performance, which is not right. Practice should be done where we don't see, we don't know, almost we don't know what. We just performance is just you putting out what you've been practicing, putting things together. And so many teams put their practice time on stage. And so you're hoping that the more you're performing, the more you're learning things. And it's true that experience comes with the number of performances that you're doing on stage. Different stages, different spaces, and all that. But you realize that it's good to put in the work behind the scenes. Here is why. Behind the scenes, you have time. You have time. There is no limitation, honestly. There's no one who's putting you on a clock. There's no one who's giving you. Here's what happens for a runner. When a runner is out on the a runway, I like that, runner on the runway. Come on now. So when a runner is on a runway, they have, they're against a clock. They're trying to put in maybe the fastest runner, 14 seconds, 100 meters. Okay? So you only have the time you have to make it to the end. But in practice, when you're behind the scenes, you have all the time to put in, hours and hours of work, just doing that one little thing until you perfect it. It's the same thing. When you're on a stage, you only have 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Imagine you're asked, come and lead us in a session, and you have 5 minutes. What do? That means that you don't have time to repeat. You don't have time to perfect anything. It's go time. So you see, you have to maximize on what happens behind the scenes. Okay, so practice. The purpose of practice involves routinely engaging in an activity to improve a specific skill or become proficient. The individual focus then, it's a personal preparation time that happens before rehearsal, right? Okay, and then the learning event is during practice, individuals learn their parts for each song. Okay, then the key aspect here is that practice is personal and individualized. I'm trying to give you the difference between practice and rehearsal. Let me say something really small about rehearsal. The purpose of the rehearsal is it's a form of practice specifically done as preparation for a performance. It ensures everything runs smoothly during the actual event. Are you seeing the difference? That now, before the purpose of practice, it just was doing something routinely, engaging in an activity to improve a specific skill. But now the purpose of the rehearsal is putting it together. You're trying to make it work for the performance. You see that? The group focus then for the rehearsal is relational. It's where the team works on songs together. That was individual. This is you doing it together. Then shaping event, it's like a group project to create a cohesive whole from different parts. Okay. Then the key aspect here is rehearsal is about collaboration and teamwork. Are you seeing the difference? So practice, you are alone. You're trying to nail that one little thing. And then rehearsal, you are in a group, a company of people, and you're trying to put different aspects together to make something holistic. All right. So say if I was practicing my piano, then I would, go to the major scale, maybe. You see, I can't do that when we're rehearsing together as a team. Or maybe it's I'm working on a song. The guy who taught me piano in the real beginning of playing piano, that's all he could teach me. But I celebrated because he started me off. Okay. All right. So it's that you're perfecting something in private, but then the private of rehearsal is the team putting things together. All right. So let me give you 7 steps to fruitful practices. One. Hey, are you ready? Decide that you must do it. Decide. You have to decide that you're going to do it. If you don't decide that it has to be done, it won't be done. Okay? Very quickly. Two, set aside time and place. Time and place. This is important. One, you have to decide that you have to do the practice. Two is that you have to set aside a time and a place. If you don't have these two things in right, you're going to come up with something else. You won't do it because you haven't put aside the right time. You must do it, and the time goes with the place. Okay, it's good if you can do it daily. By the way, I think that if you can just put in 15 minutes of honing something and just you know putting in just that one thing, maybe it's perfecting a chord, or maybe it's a movement, or maybe it's a vocal drill or something. That's powerful right there. Okay, so the right time, 15 minutes in the right place, maybe just daily or maybe 3 times a week is really good. Then set up your instrument. Now, this is mostly for the instrumentalists. Uh, okay. Now, this is important because usually when you decide that you're going to practice and it involves putting, getting your piano or maybe guitar or violin or whatever it is under the bed or maybe in somewhere where you have to climb, that whole process of setting up is going to it won't be encouraging. I like when the piano is ready to go, just turn it on, sit, start playing, and then get off, maybe cover it, and you're off. You're off. You're good to go. So set up the instrument so that whenever you decide I'm doing it at this time, you just sit on the thing, turn it on, go, work your thing out, then leave. Okay. Minimize your phone usage. It's a big distraction. Every time a message pops up on your phone, that's someone walking into your room where you're practicing and asking you, "Hey, will you?" Then they go away. Another person, "Hey," so you're trying to work out something. Then you have to look up, talk to them, then come back, then look up, talk to them. So what I like to do is to just put airplane mode, take off your data or something. Just minimize the phone usage. You want to put in the time and just go right into it. The fifth one here is plan your practice. Plan. What are you working on? What are you going to do? What are you listening to? If it's a song, if it's a scale, if it's just plan it out. Don't just go with an empty, and whatever comes. Try to work towards something. Maybe it's the song that you need to perfect. Okay. I like to put number 6 as time your practice. If it's 20 minutes, don't get off your instrument until your 20 minutes are done. So time, because sometimes you do 3 minutes, sometimes you do 1 hour. But if it's consistent, just put 20 minutes and stick with it until your 20 minutes are done. You'll have much more fruit from that. Number 7 is use a metronome. Why? Because the metronome helps you keep time. Okay? Here's the thing, when you're performing, everything is in time. Everything is in time. Everything is moving in time. The song is moving in time. Everything is moving in time. 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 So you want to practice that. Every time you're practicing something, you can slow it down, but then try to put it back into the real time and then pressing towards the time, the active time, and there's a heartbeat to it. Okay? The last one, have. I should have used another color for this. Have fun. Have fun. Practices shouldn't be sorrowful, and yeah, have some fun. When it works out, stop and celebrate. Be like, I got it. I got it. I had to come up with different fun things just learning the skill. I came up with all sorts of things because I didn't want to stay with just oh Lord and just stay there. It's helpful, but I wanted to enjoy my practice. So I came up with all sorts of things to try and have the winner's spirit carry me on. Okay, so here are a few things I'll talk about rehearsals. How about rehearsals?